Hello indie game fans, the year in indie games so far has been a little slow, but things have started to pick up in March, with February having its share of gems and great games as well, so here are my top 10 picks for the month. Let's begin with Diplomacy is Not an Option, a survival city builder that does swarm you with tons and tons of enemies. This is one of the wonders of modern game development, since the tech is able to support this, adding a grand sense of scale to the battles. It is currently in early access but is pretty good so far, with more missions for the campaign mode to be added, planned for a full release in 2023. I was pretty tickled by Longvinter since on the surface, this looks like a very chill life sim title, having you fish, chop trees, build your base and so on, but then comes the twist that there are straight up assault rifles in this game and you can go on the offense to attack other players. However, that might just be a double-edged sword, since with all online multiplayer survival titles, there's plenty of trolling and griefing new players, which might not be what you're looking for if you prefer the chill vibes. Impressively, for an indie game 1 month after launch, they're having about 300 to 400 concurrent players, peaking at 650 as of recording, so it's not one of those games that died due to a lack of players, so I'm curious to see where this will go.
After so many years of exhausting war, the lands of this world are full of blood, and the only winner is death. Strengthened by the pain and suffering of humanity, the Grim Reaper forges its army of desperate beings, ready to take over our world.
I always say that it's difficult to get monochrome right in games, since if done wrongly, it can make a game look really boring and unattractive, but somehow, Kingdom of the Dead manages to pull it off.
Choose your weapons and wipe them out.
This is a linear first-person shooter that has you taking on all sorts of monsters and creatures as you take on death itself, being one for fans of the genre.
To the abyss, once and for all.
Everything about the city builder, Power to the People, is just clever and polished, with an excellent trailer as well, so enjoy.
Congratulations on your promotion to Power Architect. Your mission is to build and upgrade the power grid to keep the electricity flowing and the customers happy. Are you ready for your first assignment? No, of course it's not here. It's in a charming town just a few hours drive away. You'll love it, I'm sure. You might think this is not much of a challenge, but remember, cities grow over time. And as they do, so does their power consumption, putting more strain on your infrastructure. You'll have to place power plants, substations, and energy storage facilities, and connect them with a carefully planned power line layout to keep up with the ever-increasing growth, while also keeping an eye out for natural disasters and changing market forces. Failing to do so will have serious consequences and will leave the city in the dark. Make your customers unhappy enough, and you'll be out of a job. Luckily, you have science and technology on your side, providing you with ways to make your grid more efficient and reliable, and also to maximize those sweet, sweet profits. Do everything right, though, and you might just get another promotion, taking you to all corners of the world, facing bigger challenges, and also providing you with more ways to tackle them. Hopefully these new tools and the experience you've acquired will be enough for you to avoid disaster. Do you have what it takes to keep the lights on? Of course you do, Power Architect. We're counting on you.
Lament, your poor soul, for there is a stench of a curse upon you. You're undead, We brought you here by means of our immense powers. Your fame reaches wide across the country. The nasty rumors about you reach even further. No, we cannot send you back. Not yet. See, that's the nature of every summoning. It must have a reason.
We are seeing a renaissance in the first-person shooter genre, where the lo-fi Blood West is a title of interest here. However, more interestingly, while this has a level-based structure, each level is a map in which you are free to roam, giving it more of an immersive sim feel. There's a focus on stealth, and you do have limited ammo like a survival horror game, so it's not an all-action title like the Dooms and Call of Duties of the world. That is also its unique selling point, which has resulted in this being fairly successful so far, where developer Hyperstrange is beginning to show their mettle with first-person titles, having made games like Elderborn and Crossbow Blood Knight, both of which are worth checking out.
Cycle of despair. Take back the frontier, gunslinger.
I did cover Home Behind 2 in surprise releases, since I missed covering the 1.0 release during Indie Gaming this week, where this roguelite RPG is very good and definitely worth picking up. You play as freedom fighters going against the authoritarian government, and while it looks like a Darkest Dungeon style RPG, combat is actually in real time, which is the most interesting part. There are meta elements to manage like upgrades, crafting and base building as well, so it is quite the package. Fans of the channel will know that I have a huge soft spot for JRPGs since I grew up playing them, so while turn-based combat may turn some people off, it is warm and nostalgic for me, where one of the best developers in the space is Stegosoft Games, with their title Rise of the Third Power being one to get. It does have the political intrigue of a JRPG that is based on human history in the 1930s around World War I, but of course with a fantasy twist, having a wide range of playable characters which have unique skills, making it one of the best modern entries in the space. By my own standards, Oli Oli World doesn't quite fit as an indie game, since it does come to us from a relatively large studio and does have the support of Private Division behind it, so there is an asterisk, but it's a great title that I don't want you to miss. As compared to the pixel art of the first two entries, someone at the team watched a little too much Adventure Time and crammed that into this side-scrolling skateboarding game, and that is not a bad thing since I love that series myself. This is the definition of a flow state game, where you are seamlessly pulling off tricks as you go about the world on your quest to attain Nirvana and to become a skate god. There's some amount of memorization required for the levels, but eventually you should be able to get the hang of it. Speaking of flow state games, Grapple Dog will be one to check out, since this level-based entry with a grappling hook just feels good to play, and in many ways does remind me of the greats in the genre. The grappling hook and swinging physics feel good, and there are bosses and enemies which you can butt stomp, and it does have a fantastic look as well, so 3 great reasons to pick this up.
Not having fun is boring. Whoa! What the
Hey, kid,
Whoa!
check this game out. Infrared. You got the power.
Whoa!
Let's go.
Whoa!
Unsurprisingly, If you have seen my videos this year, you would have gotten the hint that I was pretty excited about Infernax, and I'm happy to report that it does not disappoint. This is a classic Vania title, which is more like Simon's Quest and Xanadu rather than Hollow Knight, in being more of an action platformer with puzzle elements, with a fantastic retro look as well. There are choices to be made and multiple endings coming to us from one of the best game developers in the space, so of course it takes the #1 spot. For more Metroidvania games, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.